Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to a brand new episode of the Love of Fighting podcast. It's your host, Arsha, as always. We are joined by the future of the middleweight division in the UFC, Mr. Andre Petroski. Andre, how you doing, my friend?
Doing really good. Thanks for having me.
So good to have you on the show. You are coming off the Ultimate Fighter show. It didn't go your way, but you found yourself in the UFC one, and you fought a very great fight. What was your reaction when they came to you and said, "Hey, we want you on the fight card against Gilmore"?
I was excited. After after the semifinals of the Ultimate Fighter, um, like the producers were like, "Oh, don't worry about it. You'll get a fight on the finale. Don't worry about it. You'll definitely be on the finale." And then I saw that they announced the date and the card was full, and I was like, "Oh man, well." So we started looking at other, local promotions and different competitions, and so I didn't think that I was going to be on the finale. And then when they called, it was 10 days before. I got obviously I was super excited.
And you know what? It was on short notice, like you said. It was on 10 days notice, right? And when when they said you're fighting Gilmore, who was on the Ultimate Fighter, and you kind of knew about him, right? On the Ultimate Fighter and stuff.
Yeah, so he was like my training partner for most of my semifinal fight. He had lost his quarterfinal, and he was still healthy, so he was like my main training partner for Brian.
I want to ask you about the shorts that you were wearing in the fight. Did they tell you that you were not wearing the Venom gear? You were just wearing the Ultimate Fighter shorts?
Um, I mean, it wasn't like I didn't really have a choice, honestly. They just gave me the fight kit, and that was that.
Uh, that was a weird because it wasn't the finale. You guys just were signed to the UFC and you were supposed to fight. Was that kind of weird to you? It was weird to me. It was weird to a lot of people.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if they wanted to just like show that they were the Ultimate Fighter fights,
Uh,
but yeah, it was interesting.
yeah. So we talked about Ultimate Fighter, but how did you get into mixed martial arts? What was it that brought you to this sport?
So my dad and my uncle and my grandfather were real big wrestlers. My dad wrestled at Penn State. My uncle wrestled at Central Connecticut, and my dad ran a karate school when I was growing up. And like I hated karate, but I wrestled and we would always watch MMA. We would watch like back to like the WEC days when it was like Uriah Faber and
Oh
Jens
my God.
Pulver. And so like even though I like hated karate, my dad was always like obsessed with wrestling and fighting, and he was a fighter too. He had some boxing matches, and so like I was basically born into it, honestly.
So you come from a family of fighters. Is that what you're saying? Like your
Yeah,
family wrestling,
I would say,
boxing, and all that stuff?
but my dad was a fighter.
Uh-huh. And he didn't have any problems with you, going and fighting. He didn't. He was supportive all the way.
Nah, he knew I was gonna fight from probably the age of 3, from 3 years old.
Yeah. And that's all. Every single fighter story. That's in them. Every fighter is unique in their fighting style, but their background. Coming. They all either they get into a lot of trouble or they're so athletic that the parents know. Just like you. You're an athletic
Brother,
guy.
yeah, me and my brother are like complete opposites. My brother's a doctor, and
Uh-huh.
like he was always really close with my mom, and my dad always like me and my dad were always like inseparable because my dad was the fighter, my dad was the wrestler, he wanted to train one of us, and I was always, I mean, from day one he knew like I was the one that was going to be a wrestler.
And that wrestling turned into mixed martial arts. Now you're in the UFC.
Yeah.
Who do you want to fight next? I got two matchups for you. I would love to see you against Eric Anders, or winner of Kevin Holland and Kyle Dawkins. Who would you like to fight?
So we tried to get Kevin Holland for Fury Grappling for the
Uh,
grappling show.
yeah,
It's I think it's end of October. It's end of this month, but they didn't want that matchup. I mean, obviously, I'm a strong wrestler, and that's kind of his weakness is wrestling. But
yeah, exactly.
yeah, we tried to get that. But yeah, I mean, I love both of those. I love all three of those fights, honestly. Um, I've been following Eric Anders for a little while. We have the same management company, but he beat one of my old coaches, Timmy Williams, and
Yeah,
it was kind of like I don't know. Well, it was to me it was a controversial fight where I thought Timmy was winning the fight, and Eric kicked him in the face like as he was coming up, and it was like the whole argument of like
yeah,
whether hands was down or not. Um, I thought it was like a legal shot, but regardless, a lot of people said it was illegal. But yeah, I followed him ever since then, and yeah, they're all fights that I would love to take for sure.
uh,
I
you
like
know,
that Maximov. I like
yeah.
Duran Win. I like a lot of those fights.
And you said about your coach and all that stuff. I looked at Sherdog.com, and it says he won by soccer kick. You know, yeah, it says he won by soccer kick right there. It
Nah,
says KO TKO win by soccer kick. It says if you go look it up, it says soccer kick.
no way.
No, yeah, man. I was research. He was on the show. Eric was on the show, and I was doing a little bit of research, and it says he won the fight by soccer kick.
No way.
Yeah, you checking it
On
out?
on Sherdog.
Yeah, Sherdog.com.
Oh my god, that's hilarious. Eric
It's
Anders.
yeah, check it out, man. Check it out.
Sherdog. Shut up.
It says right.
Hold on here. Win by soccer kick.
I told you, man.
that
It's
is
funny.
that is crazy. That's
It's crazy.
what the
It's
heck?
hilarious, really. I
Oh
was like,
my god.
wait a minute. Did they fight in Pride? I was like, maybe they fought in Pride. I don't know.
Man, that's funny.
And, if you fight him, that could be in, a pay-per-view.
Avenge his loss.
Yeah, you beat my coach, now I'm gonna avenge his loss. Type of fight. It sells a lot, man. You
Oh
know,
man.
every everybody wants to see a fight like that. Kobe Covington, Jorge Masvidal, former friends turned enemies. It sells pay-per-views, and if you guys fight on a pay-per-view card, of course it's gonna sell. So,
Hell,
you know, uh, a lot of fans, they were talking about that your fight with Gilmore, and they were talking about your cardio. How is your cardio right now? Are you working on that?
yeah, I switched up my training a lot. I used to lift a lot of weights and not like I didn't really believe in like endurance, like long distance running or training really to be honest. And I've just changed it up a lot. I think that I think a lot of it was just mental. Like I got so I still have 100% finish rate. Like everyone,
Yeah,
you know, used to finishing guys in the first round so much, and not like having to worry about the rest of the fight where I could just go out and like go 100% and finish a guy. And I got so used to that I never really thought about the rest of the fight. And so then I hit this wall where like I wasn't finishing guys off my first or second submission. And yeah, I think with experience you learn how to like push through those, where to rest, where to recover, where to really put it on a guy and make him quit. And then also, the second part of that is just doing more cardio. And
yeah,
it's a part of the sport that nobody loves to do.
yeah.
But
Running. I mean, I hate it. I hate running, man. I
I
hate it.
hear you. I hear you. And me too. But when you start to realize that it's absolutely necessary if you want to be a 15-minute fighter, you just force yourself to fall in love with it, with the process, because you could either you make it fun or it sucks and you don't do it. So you got to just kind of find a way to enjoy it. Find a good playlist, find people you enjoy running with or doing the cardio with. Like, you just got to find a way, man, because it's unavoidable. You can't avoid it.
Yeah, I mean, I hate running, man. I mean, I hate it 100%. I'm sorry, what was that? Okay.
I said, me too.
Yeah, I mean, if it's on the treadmill, it's different. Treadmill is different, right? But running out on the street, it's horrible.
Yeah.
It's horrible, man. Especially, I don't know, is it with me or I think it's just me, but when I run out on the street, my leg hurts. Like,
Yeah. So I really fell in love with the Rogue, like the assault bike. The
oh
air.
yeah.
Yeah, man, they're great because you're working your upper body and your lower body. That's really the machine that I've been doing the most with as of recently.
Yeah, that's great. And let me ask you about the future. How long is it gonna take you to, be a world champion in the UFC? How long? 2 years, 3 years? How long?
I think that there's guys in the top 10 that I can compete with right now. I think that if I get a lot of these guys down on the ground, like, they're in trouble for sure.
Yeah,
Just looking at like the progress that I've made over the past year, I think if a couple more fights and I think that like my striking will be good enough to compete with the top 5 guys, the best guys in the world. So if it was up to me, I would fight, every other month, and I'd be ready in a year. You know what I mean?
yeah. I like your chances in the top five. Let's say you fight Derek Brunson. I think your wrestling is even, but your striking is gonna. I think your striking is better than Derek Brunson. To be honest, your is if he goes for a takedown, you wrestle, you can defend the takedown, and when he wants to stand up, you got more power, and your striking is definitely better. And I love your chances in the top five, man, especially against the champion Israel Adesanya, with his fight against Bohovic. He was out wrestled, and I like your chances, man. I really do. How do you see it?
I think my wrestling is better than Derek Brunson's, to be honest, but
You have to see that, yeah.
time will tell.
Yeah, we have to see that. I mean, there are a lot of top five, top 10 matchups for you, and I think you're ready, man. You've been in the Ultimate Fighter now. You be a really good guy. You get a really good fighter, and I think if you fight the winner of Kyle Dawkins, Kevin Holland, which I think if you fight Kevin Holland, your wrestling is gonna dominate. Especially, I mean, Kevin. Have you seen his improvements? His takedown defense.
I mean, I guess he defended one takedown, and now he's saying that he's been working on his wrestling against Dawkins, who's not a wrestler.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like he was like just holding on. Like his takedown defense, it improved. But if he fights someone like you, or Derek Brunson again, who's like got that pure wrestling background, I think he's gonna be in a lot of trouble, especially against you. Obviously, I think you're bigger than him. How tall are you? 6'1", 6'2",
6 foot.
6 foot. I mean, you're shorter, but you're bigger, you're stronger, and his takedown defense. It looked great. It looked good against Dawkins, who's not a wrestler. But against you, I think you can do it if he signs to fight you, and that's the reason he didn't sign to, fight you again in that grappling match.
Honestly, I don't see any of these guys just stopping my wrestling, to be honest.
I mean, I I've seen all of your fights, and your wrestling is unstoppable, especially against a guy like Kevin Holland who doesn't have that takedown defense.
Right.
And striking, when you got that, that fear of takedown, you put it in Kevin Holland, your striking is gonna look better, man. Look at Habib and Connor. Who dropped who?
Yeah.
Habib is a wrestler. Dropped McGregor, who's a striker, and
Right.
that's how I look at the fight, and I like, man, Andre, he might even knock him out. Who knows?
Yeah.
So moving on. Let's. Do you said you have a kid, right? On the show.
Yeah.
On the show, you have a daughter, right?
Yeah.
If she comes to you and said, "Dad, I want to fight," what would you tell her?
I would support it for sure.
Uh,
Maybe like not like she doesn't have to be like do it for a living, just like do it to have fun.
yeah, have fun, like, and in a couple years, I think we can see mixed martial arts evolve and be a better sport. If you could add a rule or ban something from mixed martial arts or add something, what would it be?
um I personally like the soccer kicks.
That's good. That's good, man. That's
I
great.
I like that. I think you should be able to knee and kick on the ground.
I mean, they do it in ONE FC, and
Right,
it
right,
looks
right.
good. They got
I-
Demetrius Johnson with it.
Yeah, I would say like if you could avoid cutting weight, like obviously that would be the best thing for our sport. But I don't think it's avoidable, or I don't think you can avoid it. I think that cutting weight is inevitable, and it's going to be part of our sport forever. I think that, I mean, at least from what I've talked to with the guys in ONE FC, like they're not, they didn't eliminate weight cutting. You know,
Yeah.
Eddie Alvarez is talking about when he goes out to fight and he's looking across the cage. The dudes are huge, and they're like, he's just like, dude, there's no way these guys aren't cutting weight. Um, so I don't. If there was something that I could remove from the sport, it'd be cutting weight, but I don't think that that's possible. So I would add the soccer kicks.
Yeah, soccer kicks. Eric Anders.
Yeah, right.
I mean, that was hilarious, man. I saw it on Sherdog and I was like, what the hell? It's still confusing to me. So confusing. Maybe
Yeah,
they did it for fun.
it's probably somebody probably added it in.
Yeah. So, did you watch the boxing fights last night?
I saw the highlights, but no, I was at work.
Uh, I watched it, and here it's like 7 a.m. and you know, you, what was your reaction to the fight?
I think Tyson Fury is like the best heavyweight boxer we've seen in a very long time. I've said that since day one.
I mean, yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. Tyson Fury is the best heavyweight. Who's who does that to Deontay Wilder for two fights in a row?
I know it's
Nobody.
crazy to think how young he is. Like I even thought he was older.
When the first time I saw him, it was like the Klitschko fight, and I thought he was like 40. I thought
Yeah,
he was like 40 years old.
like 24.
Yeah, and like it's so funny about the Furies. Like they all sound the same. Have you seen like his brothers, except Tommy, his dad, his brothers? They all look the same. They all sound the same. It,
Yeah,
that's um, let's not talk about that fight because Deontay Wilder just came out and again accused Tyson Fury of cheating again with the gloves. It's on my Instagram. It's all over on Instagram, man. It's all over. But, yeah, I want to ask you this: when a fighter loses, especially you've tasted defeat twice in your career, and what does it feel like when you lose a fight, and what do you do after when you taste defeat?
well, first off, I feel like I have always learned way more from my losses, and I've always improved on the things that were evident that I needed to work on in a loss, and you can do that with a win too. But after a loss, it's just different. Like it lasts longer, it stings a little bit more, and it really opens your eyes up to like, oh, hey, this is maybe I'm doing this wrong. Maybe I need to do more of this. Maybe I need to do less of this. And I've always, my roommate, he just fought his first amateur title fight. He was 2-0 and he lost. And I was like, dude, like when I was an amateur, I was 2-0 and I lost my first fight. And, I thought it was like the end of the world. And I just really focused on what I needed to focus on. And I won my next 10 fights. I went on like a 10 or 11 fight win streak after that. So I think like if you learn from your losses, where you got beat, where you got exposed, and you really spend the time on making them, like for me, like after I lost on the Ultimate Fighter, my focus was on my cardio, like my cardio, being efficient, eliminating wasted movements, and just being like, how can I be the best 15-minute fighter possible? And, I think it showed a little bit, a lot in the Gilmore fight.
Yeah, it
But
showed. It was better. A
yeah,
lot better.
but something that will continue to be, a focus for the rest of my career. I'm a muscle bound guy at 185. I'm
You're
not
big.
built like Adesanya or Nick Diaz. Like I'm built like Yoel Romero. So,
Tank.
muscular endurance is going to be, a focus for me for the rest of my career.
Yeah, I mean, you are you are the one of the biggest 185ers I've seen, and you in your post-fight interview in your last fight, you said you might fight at 170. Is that something in the back of your head, like I might fight at 170 against a couple guys?
If there is an offer that I can't refuse, that I can make 70. Like I'll make 70. I know that. I like fighting at 85. I like fighting middleweights. Obviously, I enjoy being healthy and like not having to lose 30 pounds. And I like being able to, fight on short notice. I like being ready. Like I can make weight in 24 hours. Like how many other fighters in the UFC can say that? Most of these guys need months to make weight. I can make it in
Yeah.
24 hours. Like,
There's not a lot of fighters like there's you, Paul Felder, Jorge Masvidal. That's it. That's three fighters, and there are a lot of fighters that go out there and take months, like you said, months, and still
yeah,
come out and miss weight by 10 pounds, 15 pounds. You remember that guy
yeah.
who missed weight by 15 pounds? He was supposed to fight at 145. He missed. He didn't even make 155, and he had a full training camp.
Fight Pat Sabatini.
Yeah, I think it was Rafael Alves. Uh, he's new to the UFC, but still he missed weight by two weight classes. He was like a welterweight, and that's not good. And you said if a fight that makes sense, if a fight that excites you, who I want to make you cut to 170. Who is it
Mike
that will
Perry.
make you? That's a good fight, Mike Perry.
Hell
Mike
yeah.
Perry. Yeah, that's a banger fight. You, Mike Perry, the power is. I mean, someone's gonna get knocked out in the first round.
That's for sure.
Yeah, and I hope you beat Mike Perry. Someone needs to humble that kid. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Mike Perry, to be
Maybe
honest.
I.
Maybe it's you. I mean, I'm not a big fan. I like his fighting style, but outside the cage, he does some stupid shit. That doesn't make sense to me. Punching
Yeah.
old dudes. He takes after Connor, punching old
No,
dudes.
no, not cool.
Not cool. Yeah, but I really want to talk to you about let's say Dana comes at you and says, a money fight, but you will never get a title fight, or a title fight, but you will never get a money fight. A money fight, like $1 billion fight. Which one would you pick? That's a hard one.
Uh, yeah, I think I'm taking the money fight.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah,
Who doesn't want a money fight?
my daughter doesn't care about a belt. My
That's
daughter wants to
great.
go to private.
Yeah, private school beats the belt every day of the week. And uh,
Yeah, I'll
uh,
buy my daughter a pony, and
yeah.
that requires money.
I mean, with $1 billion and the fame that brings in, the sponsors, all the movies that they're gonna invite you to be in, I take them. I take $1 billion fight too. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, it's great, man. It's great talking to you, and I really wanted to know if in the couple of years later, let's say you win the world title, are you thinking about the champ status? If the $1 billion offer doesn't come up,
absolutely. I can make 70 and 85.
maybe 205, maybe a triple championship belt.
Definitely.
Uh, uh, title fight between Adesanya and Whitaker is coming up. Who do you have in that matchup?
I think Adesanya again.
By knockout,
Yeah,
submission, knockout?
yeah. I've honestly, I like a couple things that Whitaker does, but overall, I've never been like really that impressed by him. At least by his striking.
Uh, I mean, his striking, that jab, cross, head kick, that's his
Yeah,
best move,
I
right?
like that he throws the same side kick. He throws the cross and follows it up with the same side kick. I do like that. And that was very effective against Gastelum, who's a monster. Like, I love watching Gastelum fight. So yeah, he does some stuff well. I just never been that like I don't know.
If you fight him, what do you think your keys to victory will be?
I think I would just take him down. I don't
Take
think
him
he could.
down and beat him up.
Yeah.
If you fight Adesanya, what would you do if you fight Israel, who's taller than you and his striking is on another level than any fighter out there?
Yeah, Adesanya can't wrestle. The blueprint to beat Adesanya has already been laid out.
But looking at the Marvin Vettori fight, don't you think his grappling has improved a little bit?
Yeah, I'm sure it has. I'm sure it has. But I'm a better grappler than Marvin Vettori.
Oh yeah, I mean Marvin Vettori, his grappling is he's known as being a grappler, taking someone down. He's not a best striker out there. He uses that takedown, but again, it's like fight. It's like fight Abel Trujillo against Khabib. Let's say Abel Trujillo is Marvin Vettori, you're Khabib. It's like that. Doesn't matter how good his wrestling is. I think
Right.
your wrestling will be better. And
Yeah.
that's what I like about your fighting style, man. It does remind me of Khabib. That wrestling and the wrestling that gives you the power of striking, that the what's it called, the respect in striking. That's what I like
Yeah.
about you. Uh, when you had your first fight, the first amateur fight, what was it like for you? Like you beat someone up your first time. That wasn't your training partner in a gym. What was it like?
It's like the best rush ever. I mean, I fell in love immediately. I knew immediately like that was what I wanted to do the rest of my life.
Uh,
And that
speaking
I
of
was gonna
that,
date.
go on, go on.
I knew that I was going to dedicate the next 10 years to it.
And talking about that, how did you like fight? How was your first ever fight offered to you? Like, who told you like, hey, Andre, we want you to fight?
So I was at Kutztown University, and nationals were over in March, and we graduated in May. So there was 2 months that I was still there. I had to be there, and I partied for like a week and was like, man, I got to do something. Like, I can't just sit around here for the next 2 months. And I went to a jiu-jitsu school, and I started training, and I was just doing jiu-jitsu every day, and I fell in love with it. I was like, this is awesome. Like, this is way funner than wrestling. And I was training. There was a kid there that was fighting. And I was like, yo, how did you get a fight? Blah, blah, blah. And he's like, look, just message this guy. It was Jonathan Webb with CFFC. And he was like, just message him, blah, blah. So I messaged Jonathan. I was like, hey, man, like, I want to fight. Like, what's going on? And he's like, all right, just send me your weight, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, all right. And the next day he got back to me. He was like, hey, we got you an opponent. The fight's in 30 days. So I was like, oh, shit, awesome. And at that point, I walked into an MMA gym. My first MMA gym ever was 302 BJJ in Wilmington, Delaware. And I walked in and I was like, hey, I got a fight in 30 days. Like, I never really trained before. And they were like, what's your background? And I said I was a Division I wrestler, and I had been doing nothing but jiu-jitsu the last 2 months. And they were like, don't worry about it. We got you. Like, don't worry about it. With that background, we'll be fine. And I just started training from there. And I mean, like I had no, like, formal MMA training, but, like, dude, I grew up. It was me, my brother, my dad, and, like, we fought all the time. Like, so, I mean, I was, like, kicked out of school for fighting. Like, you know what I mean? So fighting was, like, not, like, completely foreign, but I just never had, like, that formal training.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a brother, so I don't know how that feels, fighting a brother. I got a lot of cousins who I beat up every single day, but
there you go.
I don't have that brother thing. And I've been kicked out of school. I actually been expelled out of school for fighting and failing subjects. Yeah. So, and I got a fight coming up, so I'm gonna focus on that, and that gotta think that guy is my cousin. Just I got a cousin. I hate him. I mean, I love him, but I hate him. He's my frenemy. I just imagine he's my cousin, so I go out there and beat the crap out of the guy.
That's funny.
Yeah. And I wish you could be in my corner, but you gotta fly over the world and stuff like that. So it's gonna be a little bit. But I mean, with this thing, I think in a couple years I'll be in the UFC. Maybe I'll fight at 205, so I have to cut down to 185. Maybe me and you one day. What do you think? Yeah, I mean, you beat my ass. I mean, I got no wrestling background. All I got is a guillotine. All I got, my takedown defense is a jumping guillotine. That's it.
All right.
If I get it, I get it. If I get it, if not, I'm gonna get my ass kicked.
That's all right.
Yeah, man. So, man, I don't have any more questions for you. If you want to say anything, you want to call someone out, you want to say something before we wrap this up, microphone's all you, my friend.
I just want to thank you guys for having me on. I really appreciate it. Follow our team. We got 4 guys in the UFC right now. We're 6-0 with 5 finishes in the past year. Renzo Gracie Philly out of Kensington. Some tough guys coming up. We got Sean Brady and Pat Sabatini fighting November 20th. So stay tuned, man. Our team's on the up and coming, and we got a lot of tough guys.
Thank you, Andre, for joining us. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. Follow Andre on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. I think you got Facebook, right?
Yeah,
Follow him on social media. Yeah. Andre, what?
It's
Plug
Andre
yourself in.
Petroski on Instagram.
Follow him on social media. Tune in for his next fight because he's gonna deliver like he always does. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Tell your friends about us, and I'll see you next time. Boom.